I'm Bambi Francisco with this segment of Lessons for Entrepreneurs, and I'm speaking with Paul Martino. He's the CEO and founder of Aggregate Knowledge. He's also the founder of Tribe Networks, as well as 2 other companies. And Paul, thank you for sharing your expertise and wisdom in being an entrepreneur 4 times around. So 3 pieces of advice.
Number 1, this is an easy one. Do it with people you've worked with before. That is my number 1 rule. We were very proud when we did Aggregate Knowledge. I'd say a good 20 of the first 25 employees had all worked with someone before. A lot of former Tribe employees, a lot of former Kentucky employees, where Chris Law, my co-founder, came from. Really, that's one of the best pieces of advice, because you know, when you're in a startup, you're working long hours, you want to know who you're working with, and it's great to work with people you've already been in the trenches with before.
Mm-hmm. That's 1 piece of advice. The team, anything else? 2 more pieces?
Number 2, have a good advisory board. Get people who can really help you out as your advisors. Mm-hmm. And this doesn't mean that you need to spend a lot of money. It doesn't mean that you need to spend a lot of your time on this. But boy, when you get that term sheet, it's great to have people who can take a look at it and spend 5 minutes and go, this doesn't look good, that looks great, you did a hell of a job on this. And get advisors also who give you real advice as opposed to just pats on the back. So having a great advisory board has been very helpful in every company I've formed to date. And in many cases, the advisors I had in my first company 12 years ago are advisors to this day. And so some of them have been 4 times with me now. Okay.
So people you've worked with in the past, advisors you've worked with in the past, keeping them still close to you. And
final piece of advice, start a big company. I learned this lesson from the first company I started, which was a small company. It's almost as hard to start a small company as is a big company. You have to go through all the same stuff. You got to get a lawyer, you got to incorporate the company, you got to hire people. So if it takes just as much effort to start a small company as a large company, you might as well go after a big opportunity and an opportunity to have a big company outcome.
So what about any mistakes, setbacks in the past, and what did you learn from Tribe Networks?
Oh, sure. There's plenty of mistakes, and my goal is to always make sure that I make new mistakes as opposed to repeat the old ones. Tribe is a great example of, we were very early. We were very smart about what we were doing at Tribe.
2003 as a social network.
Yeah, we actually, Mark Pincus and I had our first discussions about that company in the summer of '02. Mm-hmm. We really thought we were onto something big, and we literally just didn't execute well enough. We didn't focus well enough on who the target audience was. We didn't market our product well enough and get a good seed audience in. And that's one of the mistakes we learned. And I learned next time around, make sure that you know exactly who your customer is, and make sure you have a value proposition that resonates well with it.
What did you learn about just people and behaviors online?
Yeah, well, actually, in many ways, I feel like Aggregate Knowledge and Tribe are a combined story. It was insights about human behavior that we learned at Tribe that let us think that a company like Aggregate Knowledge would be a good idea. We ran a lot of experiments on Tribe trying to recommend you people to date or restaurants to go to, and we had this very, very surprising set of results where unrelated data was really helpful in predicting what you might be interested in. So if I wanted to predict to you someone to date, what groups you joined might be very helpful. I said, wow, that's kind of cool. What if we did that in large, where we had news from the Washington Post and products from Shop Local and health stories from the Health Central Network? What if we had all that data in one big pot? That was really the idea behind Aggregate Knowledge, was observing those implicit behaviors across a social network was really cool. Why don't we do that at a much larger scale? And that led to the idea that Aggregate Knowledge became. And now look at Aggregate Knowledge. It's doing really well. Great. So it looks like you perfected something that sort of germinated in your past company. So, yes. So you definitely learned something from that experience. So anyway, thank you for sharing. Great. And I've been speaking with Paul Martino. He's the CEO and founder of Aggregate Knowledge.